Hello and welcome back to 365 Days with mxmtoon. I'm Maia, a singer, songwriter, videomaker, Oakland native, and a round earther. I'm also a huge fan of history. I love untold stories, gross facts, hidden secrets, anything weird, dark, and funky from the past. Each day I'm going to share one of my favorite deep cuts with you, so let's take a look at today's stories.
It's 365 with mxmtoon. New facts every day, so don't leave too soon. I'm gonna teach you stuff, no it won't be tough. Gonna go a year till you've had enough. It's 365 mxmtoon.
On this day in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Okay, sorry, I couldn't resist. That was actually August 3rd. But on June 3rd, 1492, the Portuguese geographer Martin Behaim presented the oldest known globe of the world. Let's look back on how Behaim's globe came to be, starting all the way back in ancient civilization. As early as ancient Mesopotamian mythology from 5,000 years ago, people thought that the Earth was a flat disk. But by the 5th century BC, Greek philosophers began to make observations that questioned that belief. Pythagoras, the Pythagorean theorem guy, thought that the moon must be round because of the way that the moon phases cycled. These observations actually helped another philosopher named Anaxagoras explain lunar eclipses by discovering that the moon is a rock reflecting the light from the sun. Then he was exiled for declaring that the moon was not a god, but a rock. Tough luck. Ancient Greek astronomers were impressively resourceful enough to figure out that the Earth and Moon aren't flat, but for the next several hundred years, we still couldn't plot exactly what the entire planet looked like. It wasn't until the early 15th century that the age of exploration began, and explorers, who were also sometimes colonizers, like Henry the Navigator, Ferdinand, Magellan, and Christopher Columbus, helped us better understand the geography of the world. Okay, but to be fair, did they actually know what they were doing? I mean, Columbus thought North America was India. What's that saying about having the confidence of a mediocre white man? But anyway, back to Martin Behaim. He was born in Nuremberg, Germany, in 1459, but he spent a while in Lisbon, Portugal, where he was an advisor to King John II on matters of astronomy and navigation. The king is looked back on as the perfect prince, not because he's perfect, but because he so perfectly embodied the sinister ideals put forward in Machiavelli's The Prince. This treatise encouraged young royals to go to any means necessary to ensure their glory and survival, even if that meant acting immorally. With so much exploration happening, Behaim's knowledge made him the perfect person to try to create a globe. When he returned home to Nuremberg to handle family matters, he convinced the city council to give him the funding necessary to make a globe. Between 1490 and 1492, Behaim worked on the globe, which he called the Erdapfel, which meant earth apple in German. Now, Erdapfel means potato in southern Germany and Austria, but when Behaim made this globe, potatoes hadn't even been brought over from the Americas yet. And honestly, what are potatoes if not earth apples? The globe was made out of 2 linen halves, reinforced with wood, and painted. The map itself was drawn on paper, which was pasted onto the globe. Despite using these fragile materials, the globe actually still exists today. Currently, it's held at the Vienna University of Technology, and it remains the oldest known surviving globe. Of course, there's a lot that Behaim's Earth apple gets wrong. Less than a year after Behaim finished the globe, Columbus returned from his voyage with news of the existence of the Americas, so they aren't included in the globe. Behaim also depicted Europe and Asia to be larger than they really are, and he put an empty ocean between the continents that doesn't actually exist. Speaking of things that don't exist, Behaim even included St. Brendan's Island, a mythical location that originated in a 9th century Latin folklore text. Many other maps of the world included this island, but there's still no evidence that it actually exists, except in Assassin's Creed, but that video game isn't necessarily always historically accurate. Then again, Assassin's Creed Origins once predicted the existence of a secret chamber in the Pyramid of Giza, so who knows? Despite millennia of evidence that the Earth is round, some people still believe the Earth is flat. There's even an organization called the Flat Earth Society. Even public figures like the artist B.O.B. and NBA star Kyrie Irving believe the Earth is flat, but sometimes you gotta trust science. If the Earth were flat, how would we explain time zones, moon phases, or around the world flights? Speaking of trusting science, Get vaccinated if you're able to. Now let's talk about music. Today in 2013, Lorde released her debut single Royals, which ended up winning the Grammy for Song of the Year. At the time, the New Zealand musician was only 16. Even though she sang that we'll never be royals, her music made her something like royalty. Her first record, Pure Heroine, was a banger, and her follow up Melodrama was even better. We're all eagerly awaiting her third LP, but in the meantime, it's always a good time to check out Lorde's Onion Ring Reviews Instagram account at Onion Rings Worldwide. And now for today's final segment, I will be going into my own photo archives to see what I was up to on June 3rd in my life. On June 3rd, 2015, I have a photo here of my KD, which is your kill death ratio, on a game called Battlefield 3. Now, if you don't play any games, Battlefield 3 is part of the Battlefield franchise, and I actually took this photo for one specific reason, and one specific reason only. It was to intimidate my best friend's boyfriend at the time, and to make sure that he knew that I would kick his butt if he ever hurt her. He really liked video games, and I really liked video games, but I was better at them. And so he needed to know that if he ever made her sad or angry, I would kick his ass and play in Battlefield 3. I just needed him to know that. So I took a photo there and I sent it to him, and yeah, he didn't. So it's good. I claimed my dominance, if you will. Thanks for going back in time with me, and remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can come back tomorrow for more stories from the past, and I'll see you then.
It's 365 with mxmtoon. New facts every day, so don't leave too soon. I'm gonna teach you stuff, no it won't be tough. Gonna go a year till you've had enough. It's 365.